To be able to use the if statement and the comparison operators properly, we have to know a lot about the data types, which is what we've done in previous lessons. We've looked at strings, we've looked at floats, and we've looked at ints. I don't need scratch at the moment, so let's just minimize that. I'm going to do it again in the shell, so let me close and run a new shell. And then I'll do it in the program. But we now need to know, because we're comparing a number, it has to be a number, there's no quote marks around it, so it's a number and it's an integer. But we have to be very careful how we do this. If I was to type in 18.0 is equal to 18, just try to think for a second what the answer would be. They're both the same number. 18.0 is 18, but when I press enter, I get it's true. Maybe you thought it was going to be false because of the different types. But what it's actually compared with is it's turned this second one into a 0.0 as well. So in other words, it's comparing this now. If I did it as age equals 18.0 and then compared, so age is equal to 18, I get true as well. Now if I have the second one as a variable as well, let's call that one voting age. Oops, voting age, and if I set that to 18, which is an integer, and then I set age equal to 18.0, and then try to compare the two, so age is equal to voting age. So I've got exactly the same statement here as I had here, except I've turned that into voting age, which is 18. What do you expect? I had true there, true there, true there. I've got true there. So whatever you put in when it's comparing numbers, it's going to do a conversion to float or integer. We've got to be careful when we use numbers. We've got to know what happens. You might have thought that all of those would have been false because the types are different. Because we can't have a float and an integer being the same, but they are converted by Python. Can get a little tricky. The next sequence is that I'm actually going to compare strings. So I've just played with numbers and all of the numbers. I'm now going to compare strings, and this is where we start getting into trouble. So in the next video we'll start checking strings.